Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome inside Widener University, site of the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics here over the New Year's holiday. It's LaSalle College High School against Abington High School, the Ghosts out of Montgomery County. Bob Long, Chris Carabello alongside. Chris, this is a good one. This is a game that I think if folks saw this one on the schedule last year, they would have been very excited to see it, between the 3,000-point scorer combination of Lucas Monroe, Eric Dixon, both playing at Big Five schools, and of course LaSalle's depth last year in their run to the state semifinal. But here we are today, two very young teams, two teams that are hunting for playoff spots in District 1, District 12 respectively, and I think games like these in the non-league really set the tone and the tempo for heading into conference play for both of the schools.
Yeah, I think this is a good matchup for the Explorers. Obviously, this team versus last year's team with Dixon and Monroe would have been a little overwhelming, but this is a young team too. They're struggling at times. They play good defense, which is going to cause some havoc for the Explorers, but it's going to be a nice opportunity, a good game.
The Ghosts of Abington being introduced: Caleb Baker, Antoine Ellis, Robert Bell, number 5 as well.
Number 4,
Oric Frazier, number 4, will be in the starting lineup. And rounding it out, number 1, Manir Waller, a guy to look for and probably their best offensive player. Heading into what should be a great matchup here, and now it's time for the LaSalle Explorers to introduce their starters. Shane Holland, the point guard, getting better and better every time he steps on the floor. Liam O'Donnell had a big game against Calvert Hall in the Holiday Tournament Championship for LaSalle just a few days ago. Jake Timby can also stretch it from deep, being asked to do a lot as the leader of this team. And good to see the freshmen get the start in the front court. Horace Simmons along with Mike DePietro. DePietro, Chris, I thought had his best game in a LaSalle uniform against Calvert Hall.
I think that game against Calvert Hall, where you had 4 scorers in double digits, was probably the best offensive performance that we had. And on top of that, you had a freshman in the starting lineup. So I think the Explorers are starting to come in their own. I think the more practice time they get, the more time that they can play together off the court, the better they're going to get on the court.
Final non-league matchup of not just the calendar year, but of the season here in 2019-2020 until playoff time. And a lot to learn here. We've learned a lot thus far. Abington, the same way. They've played in this Scholastic Play-by-Play 3 out of the last 4 days. So starting on the 27th, and here they are on the 30th. Both these teams wrapping up their 2019 campaign in the midst of the 2019-2020 season. Should be a good one here from Widener, and we're underway.
Yeah, the Explorers are about to head into a very, very difficult league schedule. So this is going to be I'm not going to say it's a must-win, but this would be a real good win if they could finish off the non-conference season at 7-4.
Inside with his back to the basket is Horace Simmons. DePietro spots open, can't hit the 3, and brought down by Manir Waller.
It's a shot DePietro can hit, and teams are going to give him that shot.
Top of the key, they work it around for Robert Ball. Thought about the 3 from the corner, but Caleb Baker will put it on the turf instead. A nice job by Mike DePietro to stay with him.
Yeah, did not give him the baseline. This is going to be a good defensive battle because these are teams that both are concentrating on defense. Neither scores a lot of points, although the Explorers have done well in the last 2 games.
Robert Bell guarded by Holland. Now Timby picks up on Ellis. Here's a drive to the hoop. Nice job, held defense there by Holland. Muscling his way inside, but not hitting, was number 4, Oric Frazier.
And Shane Holland was right there to take that charge if he had taken another step.
Timby for 3. It's good, and LaSalle is on the board. A 3 from Timby puts the Explorers up. 6:27 to play first quarter.
And he loves that corner.
As good of a spot-up shooter as there is in the Philadelphia area. Now here's a drive. Couldn't hit it inside. Simmons does just enough to take Frazier off his game. 6:10 to play. DePietro at the top of the key. LaSalle in the home whites, Abington in the road maroon uniforms. Timby attacks the outside hip of the defender, didn't get the call, and now the Explorers will settle in offensively. Good back cut to the hoop. Holland could have gone right up with it. Instead, it's Timby hoisting again. That one's no good.
I thought Timby had that. I thought Shane Holland had that shot. For whatever reason, he pulled it out, kicked it out to Timby.
Holland, don't think, had a great sense of where the defender was on his hip, and I think he did have an ability to get up without having his shot blocked. DePietro, good defense there, and forces the ball to be thrown away.
Mike DePietro is doing a nice job defensively, keeping them out of the lane, keeping them from penetrating along the baseline.
3-0 LaSalle leads, 5:33 to go, and a giveaway. I should say O'Donnell, fortunate to get that one back. Explorers across the timeline. DePietro open in the corner, foot on the college line. Would have been for three, no good. There are two lines here, two arcs for 3 points. Remember, the high school still has the arc connected right at the top of the key. College line is a few steps back.
What's it, about a good 11, 12-inch difference?
Yeah, I think so. Exactly a foot, I believe. Foul called against Liam O'Donnell. It'll send number 1, Manir Waller, to the line. Yeah, Chris, the high school line has stayed put for as long as I can remember. Since they put the line in to begin with, it's never changed. The college line has moved once at the D3 level, which is where Widener plays. But just this year, the men's game took another foot plus of a step back. And so now you'll see the women's game, the women's D1 college game, have the same line as the Division III men's game. And the Division I men, the only one that are stepping back, and that is even just a few steps short of the NBA line. So lots of lines to contend with depending upon where you're playing. DePietro attacks the basket up and under. Really nice job.
Nice reverse layup from Mike DePietro.
5-1 LaSalle leads, 4:46 to play. Bob Long, Chris Carabello on this one. Patrick McCullough with us here on camera. Excuse me, Pat Gallagher with us on camera, doing a great job. Here's a three from the corner. That one's no good. Offensive rebound for Abington. Tough shot, no. And it's a good contest in the lane by Mike DePietro. Simmons can't hit the mid-range, and we go back and forth here, 4:14 to play.
It was a good shot for the freshman, just didn't fall. Both DePietro and Simmons can hit from beyond the arc, and we'll take three-pointers.
That one's thrown away. LaSalle basketball with 3:56 to play in this one.
Matt Spinelli's going to come into the game for the Explorers. He's going to replace Mike DePietro. Spinelli, a fellow senior.
And he's given LaSalle good minutes.
He does. He gives good. He does a nice job off the bench. He gives them really valuable minutes. He can really jump. It's not a good pass by Liam O'Donnell.
He'll come back the other way.
Not against a really athletic team.
Good look inside, but better hands there by Liam O'Donnell to coerce the steal. O'Donnell is given the three, so we'll take it. Doesn't get the roll off the front rim.
I don't think they grasp the idea that the three-point line is a good foot in.
And there's a good drive to the basket finish from Robert Bell. It's interesting, Chris, because you don't play on college floors very often, to your point.
And in this case, they're not looking for a line. There are two distinct colors of the floor.
Right. It's really tough to get yourself in the mindset. Spinelli, that one was halfway down. That's a pretty good look that just didn't fall.
A nice turnaround jumper that just didn't fall.
Abington for the lead. That one rattles home for Ulrich Frazier. Timeout called by Abington. 2:53 to go in this one, and the Ghosts take a 6-5 lead.
Yeah. Back-to-back baskets. That was a nice shot by Matt Spinelli. Just didn't fall. But every one of the Explorers' three-pointers has been beyond the three-point college line. I just think it's something they haven't adjusted to, that they're not looking for the line. They're looking for the color on the floor.
It's an interesting point there for certain. This is always a great event here, Chris, the Scholastic play-by-play championships. Jeremy Treatman does such a good job with it. Appreciate him allowing us to be up here broadcasting here today, bringing the product to our LaSalle constituents. And I think if folks have been following along all year, what they've seen is a fun run from a team that is improving every time they step out on the floor. And
yeah, it's a 6-4 squad
right.
that's struggled at times. I think there's a disappointing loss in there, maybe 2. But for the most part, I think they've beaten the teams they could beat. And
it's December 2019.
Correct.
In a long
There's a lot of basketball
season.
to play, Bob.
A guy who's about to throw the ball in here, Sean Jennings, I think has done a great job moving from more of a JV role to a guy who's giving quite solid minutes here at the varsity level. Simmons is getting a little better each time out on the floor.
Well, he's a mature player. He's a smart player, and he's an athlete. And
big time block there by Abington. Munir Waller, he'll bring it down the floor himself. Joey Brusha nearly traveled with it. Resetting is Robert Bell. 2:28 to play first quarter. Bell drives inside, looks for Waller. He didn't give him that 3. It's a zone look here for LaSalle. They're almost asking Abington to shoot the 3 over the top, and Abington isn't biting.
I think the Explorers are a little better defensive team with Sean Jennings in the lineup. He's a little more aggressive, a little more athletic.
Offensive rebound, that's one of the things with the zone defense. You can give up a rebound here or there by not knowing who you're boxing out. Joey Brusha. Now here's a runner in the lane, no good, and a good board by Spinelli. Well, there have been opportunities on both sides, not a ton to show for it on the scoreboard. And LaSalle, an opportunity to take a lead here. 1:30 to play in the first. Jennings, great look for Spinelli through his hands. Simmons now, he'll drive. Attacking inside, he's blocked. They'll reset with Holland. A good spin move inside. He lost it on the way up. Abington can get numbers. In rhythm for 3, no good.
1 minute remaining here in the first quarter. And Shane Holland's going to take it right to the basket. Ooh, just couldn't finish.
Did not.
I don't know how that didn't fall.
Chris, they're getting good looks here.
They really are. That's 3 that just haven't fallen that were good shots. The Spinelli shot.
Good job staying with him defensively by Jennings. Brusha, he'll try it again. Back iron, no. Explorers choose to run. Timby attracts the hoop. That's a good finish there.
Nice move. Nice finish by Jake Timby.
LaSalle leads 7-6 with 27 seconds left in the first. And give Holland and Timby a lot of credit for running the floor there. They didn't have a numbers advantage by much. There were ghosts hounding them on the way back, but they've had trouble against the half-court defense of Abington, so they said, hey, we're going to try to score in transition.
Yeah, Abington's going to hold for the last shot.
Down to 6 seconds. Waller with a drive. It'll have to be Waller putting it up, and he doesn't, so they don't get the shot off.
That was a good job on the part of the Explorers. They did not give them the shot that they wanted, and Abington failed to they really failed to compensate. They didn't have a shot. They didn't come up with one, and LaSalle has a 7-6 lead going into the second quarter.
Bob Long, Chris Carabello here, live from Abington High School, or I should say Widener University. LaSalle against Abington High School. Good one here. 7-6 Explorers lead.
Explorers are going to bring Nick Verano in to start the second quarter. Verano's seen a lot of really good playing time this season.
Verano's been great, yeah. Stretching the floor along with Timby when they have them on the floor
and
at
when
the same
he's
time.
hot, like he's a streaky shooter. When he's hot, there's nobody better. But he needs to get hot. It's important for him to hit that first shot.
See if he can do that as they bring him onto the floor for the first time. Not a lot of timeouts, not a lot of substitutions, really not even a lot of stoppages. Just one foul between the two teams in what was an up-and-down first quarter.
Sometimes tournament games can be like this. They move quickly.
We look inside the LaSalle College High School huddle.
It's a nice vantage point here. Now, do you do Swarthmore games from here as well?
Swarthmore does not often play Widener.
Okay.
So I have not been here. Right down the road, though, is Tarbell Pavilion, where Swarthmore College plays. Still, as we turn the calendar to 2020, the #1 team in the country at the D3 level. Really an incredible turnaround over the span of 6 or 7 years. LaSalle stays in that 2-3 zone defense.
Yeah, that's worked well for them in the first quarter.
Bruscia looks to be one of the guys that actually is comfortable shooting the three. Haven't seen many others, Chris, that are willing for the Ghosts to take the
No, and that's the only
shield.
way they're going to get the Explorers out of that zone. Unless you're going to shoot over it, the Explorers are going to stay in it. You run the risk on a rebound.
That's a good, strong finish.
That was a nice shot.
Connor Fields puts it in, and Abington leads 8-7. DePietro dribbles, now turns to his right. Abington stays man-to-man. Here's Timby out near the boundary. O'Donnell, he's fouled, draws the contact, and will shoot 2 at the line. One more look.
That's a strong move by Liam O'Donnell. Gets the foul. I think the Explorers are going to have to do more of that. They're going to have to take the ball to the hoop, and in a couple previous possessions, the shot's been blocked. They're going to have to get the foul. Just misses.
Everything but the finish there for O'Donnell.
That rim has not been kind.
Screws are in extra tight here today.
A lot of bounce.
Back iron, no, and it's still 8-7 Abington. 6:54 to play in the second quarter. Hope there are some folks out there working here today with the old boss button that you need during March Madness. Have us up on the computer screen. Welcome to the broadcast to all those out here today shirking your work responsibilities. Back iron, no. Here's an offensive rebound running through, and it's an offensive foul.
Nice set by Shane Holland to take that charge.
One more look at this one, and he's clearly outside
the restricted area, yeah. Now, that's something we don't see in a lot of our games because only college courts have that.
That's absolutely right.
It's up to the discretion of the officials, and this makes it a little easier. That was an ill-advised pass by Nick Sperano. Lucky that Jake Timby came up with it.
And was wide open inside. Liam O'Donnell gives LaSalle a 9-8 lead.
Yeah, that could have been an N1, too.
There's a big block from Mike DePietro out of bounds. Abington basketball, that one deserves another look in transition.
Verano was not established. As a matter of fact, he turned his body away. DePietro comes up with a big block, though. Yeah, I don't think Mike McKee's happy with that. I think Nick Verano is going to take a seat.
Jennings comes back into the game. You mentioned a strong defensive presence for this team. Brush is having trouble getting it in. A loose ball, and Holland's on it first. DePietro able to pull it away.
Oh, nice play by Mike DePietro. That was a strong move because that's often a lot of times tuck it in and they get the jump ball. Mike pulled it right out.
Holland, great first step. Might have been blocked on his way up, and a foul coming against Jennings. Jiskin with a little bit too much force as he went over the top and pushed in the back of number 2, Antoine Ellis.
Sean Jennings not afraid to mix it up. Someone that they can count on for rebounds.
First look at the backup point guard, Jimmy Marino, running the show in the half court for Abington. Another quick step. That one is good. Sam McFarland.
Yeah, he went right by Jennings.
Full court pressure as Abington stays in this look, trying to make life difficult for LaSalle. Well broken. Creates a pretty good offensive opportunity here as Holland steps into a three and hits. Nothing but net for Shane Holland.
From well beyond the college line. (12-10) Explorers lead, 5:12 to play. Second quarter, a good one
between two pretty darn good teams here in District 1 and District 12, respectively, Abington and LaSalle.
I didn't expect either one of these teams to pull away from each other, and it's not what it's been so far.
I think this is one that folks are going to want to hang in for.
Yes.
Again, nice job by LaSalle breaking the pressure. One of these times, I think O'Donnell's going to get that look for three in transition. Instead, three guys double, and so O'Donnell barely drew the iron. Offensive rebound for Jennings, and it's pulled away from him. Numbers here for Abington.
Great play by Liam O'Donnell not to let that. That would have been a breakaway pass.
That's a deep one, and good for Joey Bruscia. Both teams, Chris, I think, is expanding that three-point line a bit, and a foul called there against Oric Frazier.
Well, you can tell by the results of the shot. Like Liam O'Donnell's twice been just short. It's hit the front of the rim to the point where it dropped down and didn't pop out.
Right. Need a little bit more legs, or more notably, tee it up on that brown line just inside the darker floor paint. Or that. That's a great move there. Just couldn't finish off the glass.
It's another one.
But that's exactly what you want out of Liam O'Donnell there. Create, get to the basket. He's a big, strong guard. Those will drop. Halfway home here in the second quarter. Waller. It's blocked again by DePietro. DePietro puts the ball on the floor. It's taken away from him. And then he fouls number 14 on the backside, Jimmy Marino. First personal against Mike DePietro, third against the Explorers. Abington has 3 as well. LaSalle in the home whites, Abington in the road maroon uniforms. Here from the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics from Widener University.
You know, not all college courts have a high school three-point line.
That's true.
So
kind of limits where you can play these things now that they extended the D3.
We had that problem 2 years ago at Arcadia, where we actually had to use tape to mark off a high school three-point line.
Here's a 3, no good that time, and brought down by Verano.
Knicks did a nice job of blocking out there.
They want to feed the big man, who slides through the first double team. Verano puts it on the floor, and he's nudged there by number 11, Kyle Wilson-Bailey.
Well, I think scouting reports have identified him as a shooter, and people are now, they're playing on him more as opposed to playing off him.
We've talked about that on different broadcasts as he continues to grow, mature, get a little bit quicker, and develop that pump fake power dribble. He's going to be a lot to deal with in the Catholic League. Timby off the loose ball. They'll reset it with 2:30 to play. Composure and selectivity here from the Explorers. Verano gets a good look for 3. No good. And that one was deep as well. Timby got his hands on it. Couldn't come up with the steal. A runner, short. And that's a great rebound there by Verano.
He got up, boxed out. Could have gotten over the top called.
2 minutes to play in the second quarter. It's been low scoring every step of the way here.
I think these refs are very content in letting them play. There's been a lot of reaching in that hasn't been called.
Holland, he's hit 1, he's hit 2. Dynamite from distance, and LaSalle leads 15-13.
I think the Explorers are going to get open shots if they move the ball around. They've had a lot of success that this year. You need to continue to do that.
Couldn't hit that time. Good rebound by DePietro. Giving away Holland. So fortunate to get it back momentarily. And wow, that is a timeout called by Mike McKee. I get why he asked for it. I don't know that necessarily Holland had the ball in time for the call, but perhaps simultaneous possession and the call being made. Comes with 1:17 left in the second quarter.
He had some words with the referee about something he questioned, but he was able to call a quick timeout and retain possession there.
This portion of today's game brought to you by KC Salle and Ambler. A great place to go watch the game. Maybe you're looking for a place to hang out around New Year's, and it's a great place to go. Good family environment, specials every day of the week, and they did a great job by putting a lot of our games on in the fall. So if you wanted to watch LaSalle football and couldn't get it, that's a place to go. Chris, I know when we go out to places like Shillington, like we did last year in Reading, find a place to go watch the game, it's a great place to do so. In Ambler, Casey's Alley.
Yeah, there were a number of establishments, Casey's Alley being one, and they did. It was just a great way of LaSalle community getting together to watch games.
It really was. I'll tell you what, not to build our egos, but it was something else to see our faces and images and the kids, these student athletes playing at a very high level and having those games broadcast in a well-known establishment like that. That's pretty cool for these kids, pretty cool for LaSalle as a whole, so we appreciate their support.
No, what started out with people watching us on the internet,
That's
or
right.
actually listening
Yeah.
to us on the internet, and then shifting to when we made the shift to video, and then people being able to to put it up on a 40-inch TV and their through YouTube to games being on in bars and restaurants.
Yep. Yeah, we've taken some nice trips as well. I mean, we've been down in places like the Matha Catholic for football. We've made trips for basketball, as the team has made trips through state tournament runs. A game like this, middle of the week, 1:30, you can't always make your way out here, and we appreciate when they do. That's always the first thing. Try to get out here and see these kids in person, but when you can't, it's great to have a partner like that or a place to watch them. A minute to go in this back and forth first half. LaSalle 15, Abington 13. O'Donnell, the lane opens up. Great look for Timby. That is a three, and that's good.
Great look.
And
Great call by Mike McKee. I was a set play. I mean, obviously, if Liam O'Donnell had the shot, I think he would have taken it, but the plan was always to hit the wide open Jake Timby.
And to your point, we've talked about these lines. Both his feet were squarely on that blue line, but behind the brown line. Had the distance dialed up and knocked it down. It's an 18-13 lead for LaSalle with 22 seconds left. Abington looks to hold for the last shot of the half.
Explorers staying in that zone. Timby's guarding Brescia a little better because he's the three-point threat.
No good on that one. They'll get one more look. This is a three. In and out. Tipped up. No. Didn't get the shot off.
No,
That's
he didn't
the
get
end
that
of the
off.
half.
Okay. They did wave that off. I was going to say that the light had lit before.
Another nice
went
part
off.
about playing at a college venue, Chris.
Yeah.
Getting the benefit of the red square and the horn and the buzzer. That certainly was after the shot. The clock had expired. Did not go anyway. And LaSalle, the defense, Chris, that's the name of the game here today. They're even getting some pretty good looks offensively, some of them not dropping. But the defense has been impressive. Abington's tried to get it into the center of that zone, and to some extent, they've been successful at doing that. But it's at the point of attack, at the shot, where LaSalle, Mike DePietro, Matt Spinelli in limited minutes, they've gotten up there, they've contested, and not a ton of second chance opportunities for Abington thus far.
No, the second chance opportunities came when they played in that zone, and they came from balls that shot out. There's not a lot you can do about that. You can block out all you want, but that's a shot that that's a rebound they're not going to get. And I think it's where LaSalle's put a lot of their effort. They're trying to keep teams to 40, at under 50 points a game, trying to keep them around 40 points a game, and hoping that they can score more than that. And that's the Explorers' game plan, and it's working right now.
Bob Long, Chris Carabello, Patrick Gallagher with us here on camera, doing a tremendous job. We appreciate his help here today. Appreciate you being here today, Chris, as well. We'll take a break. We'll come back in less than 10 minutes for a tip-off here in the second half. The Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics, Jeremy Treatman's event here at Widener University. Thanks to Jeremy for all his help in putting together what is one of the premier high school basketball events anywhere here in late December. We'll be right back.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
I chose CCM because I have found that this company, on the level of scaling that we have here, the volume that we are doing, to truly have every department head and employee fully engaged in the mission of the company to make it an originator-focused, production-first company. I have not found that anywhere I've worked, and I've worked at one of the largest banks in the world, down to the smallest tiny community bank and correspondent lender. No one has been able to consistently deliver that message.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the Nittany Lions Sports Report. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the Nittany Lions Sports Report live on Bob Long Sports. Today we're going to talk about the offensive line and our man of the hour, the chef, the man himself, Des Holmes and Mike Miranda, your disruptors on the Penn State offensive line.
This year, you're going to see all four guys run. They all bring a different style.
The quarterback is going to read the defensive end's eyes and make a determination. Am I going to keep this football or am I going to hand it off to the running back? And that is generally the point of the RPO. Look who we have. We have Chris Perangeli, our guest picker for the evening.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
Welcome back, everybody, inside Widener University. Just a few minutes until we get started on the second half. Bob Long, Chris Carabello, Patrick Gallagher with us on camera. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. LaSalle just starting to exit the locker room now, as you see. And I want to tell you about our partners at the Carrie Guerin Boyle, Jim McLaughlin team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Fox & Roach Realtors. Jim is a LaSalle alumni. His father and 3 sons attended LaSalle, and Carrie's family has been associated with the Explorers for generations, and she has a sophomore in the class of 2022. They've committed their family over the years to LaSalle, Jim and Carrie, and you can trust that you'll be treated like family as well when buying or selling a home with this real estate team. Call Jim at 267-242-5991 or Carrie at 267-626-6818 for any real estate questions. Licensed in PA and New Jersey. LaSalle out there warming up right now. It's been a good one. LaSalle has had a good amount of looks that have rimmed in and out. You can say the same for Abington. The defense has been staunch on both sides. 18-13 the score. Looking forward to this one. Two teams that are getting better and better as the season goes along, look to be factors in both District 12 and District 1. Stay tuned for it. It's the great part about late December is having non-league matchups, learning a little bit about not just the teams themselves, but the leagues as a whole. Happy to be here for it. Stay tuned for just a few minutes, and we'll be right back.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfort Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfort Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
I chose CCM because I have found that this company, on the level of scaling that we have here, the volume that we are doing, to truly have every department head and employee fully engaged in the mission of the company to make it an originator-focused, production-first company. I have not found that anywhere I've worked, and I've worked one of the largest banks in the world, down to the smallest tiny community bank and correspondent lender. No one has been able to consistently deliver that message.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the Nittany Lions Sports Report. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the Nittany Lions Sports Report live on Bob Long Sports. Today we're going to talk about the offensive line and our man of the hour, the chef, the man himself, Des Holmes and Mike Miranda, your disruptors on the Penn State offensive line.
This year, you're going to see all 4 guys run. They all bring a different style.
The quarterback is going to read the defensive end's eyes and make a determination. Am I going to keep this football, or am I going to hand it off to the running back? And that is generally the point of the RPO. Look who we have. We have Chris Perangeli, our guest picker for the evening.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome inside Widener University. Bob Long, Chris Carabello alongside. Beginning of the third quarter, the Explorers have the basketball and lead 18-13, dressed in the home white uniforms. Abington stays in the man-to-man, nearly got a steal there. Horace Simmons looks for help. Holland's been good from deep, has already hit 2 threes this afternoon.
Yeah, 14 of LaSalle's 18 points have come from 2 players, Timby and Holland.
Holland gets inside. Good look for Simmons. That's a 3. No good off the back iron. 7:09 to play. LaSalle stays in this 2-3 zone. They've been there pretty much exclusively here today. Why would you dip out of the zone when you've only given up 13 points in the half? What type of transitions and adjustments has Abington made? More than a minute into this one, and yet to have a bucket on either side. Good catch in there by DePietro. The skilled big man goes to work inside. DePietro spins
nice
to
move.
the baseline,
Oh.
just couldn't hit it. Everything but the finish.
And LaSalle's gotten a number of really good shots, just haven't fallen.
Good drive inside, and the finish by number 1, Manir Waller.
18-15 LaSalle. Again, O'Donnell got great penetration, took it right to the hole, just couldn't finish. Explorers are getting good shots.
A foul called on the baseline with 5:58 to play. If that goes against DePietro, no, that's going to go against Horace Simmons. First team foul here in the second half.
Yeah, first on Simmons. Not a lot of fouls called in the first half. Said the referees really let them play. A lot of reach-in fouls that might normally have been called in a Catholic League game, but not today.
Waller thought about the three. They'll work it back up top for Robert Bell. Interesting to see Horace Simmons be the one to be brought out, and now they do drop him down to the baseline. Inside, that was a great look. He's got to go up with that one. Now it's an open three. That hits.
And now we got a tie game at 18.
18 apiece. And Bell, I think, bailed out his teammate Caleb Baker because Baker caught an unbelievable entry pass. That was a great job to set him up inside. He's got to go up.
He's got to go up right away, too. And he didn't, and then...
Yeah, fortunate there for Abington. We're all tied up at 18, 5:09 to play. DePietro, he lost the ball. Last touched by Abington. Let's get one more look. I thought that might have been Ghost ball. Perhaps it was tipped out by number 4, Auric Frazier. Timby is open for three. No good off the front rim.
And at halftime, the coaching staff talked to the Explorers about taking the shot from beyond the three-point line and not from that white area of the court where it's a different color.
LaSalle yet to score here in the third quarter. We're better than 3 minutes into it. 4 minutes, 45 seconds to play in the third. Bell hit the last three. He has it now. Explorers stay in the zone. Waller to the elbow, rises and hits. And Abington lead for the first time here in the second half. Third time all contest.
Abington's come out and scored 7 straight points and pick up another steal.
Giveaway there from O'Donnell. Unforced error. DePietro called for his second. In the act of shooting, Auric Frazier. He'll shoot 2 at the line.
I'm not sure DePietro really contested that shot there. He just was in the wrong place.
Third for DePietro. I spoke too soon. That's a big foul. Wholesale substitutions. Out comes O'Donnell, DePietro, Simmons. In comes Nick Sforano, Matt Spinelli, and Sean Jennings. I think, if anything, including the foul trouble for DePietro, but that's also a statement from head coach Mike McKee. They want to change things up a little bit, get some new energy out there as we're halfway through the third and LaSalle scoreless in the period. There's Jennings. He's fouled and kind of bailed out by Abington there. He was, unfortunately, a little out of control without anywhere to go with that ball. But the foul call gives LaSalle an opportunity underneath the offensive basket.
Yeah, they were never going to give him the shooting foul. I mean, I think it was very clear that he was unloading.
4:06 to play, third quarter. And a nice job by number 2, Antoine Ellis, to follow Timby to the boundary.
Spinelli short again.
Here's a pull-up. It's good. Antoine Ellis. 23-18 Abington.
Yeah, Abington with their biggest lead of the night.
10-0 run to start the third quarter. And didn't get it there in time. Dunking it home. Auric Frazier.
See if Mike McKee calls a timeout here. It's down 7. His team hasn't scored. And he is.
There's your timeout. 3:25 to play. And you hear from the Abington crowd here. The bench is feeling it as well. 3:25 to play. Third quarter.
Full timeout for the Explorers.
Good time to tell everybody about what's next for us, Chris. We're going on the road, January the 3rd, as LaSalle takes on Bishop McDevitt. That's going to be a tough game. A team that is playing at 5:15 here this evening at this very venue.
Who do they have, Cheltenham here tonight?
I believe that might be true, unless they played them the other day, actually. We'll find that one out. But it's a very good Bishop McDevitt team.
Yeah.
Tough place to play, and looking forward to the challenge.
And given that I think there's a little revenge factor into that game, too, because most of those players are returning players on a team that lost twice to the Explorers last year,
right,
including a semifinal loss at the Palestra.
Bishop McDevitt is taking on Germantown Academy today at 5:15 here. And you're exactly right, Chris. LaSalle beat Bishop McDevitt twice and didn't leave a good impression on the Lancers either time, I am sure. The first time, not only did they lose, they lost badly, and they got put on SportsCenter as Conrad Kishka threw the house down. And then, of course, the tough loss in a game that was hard-fought, low-scoring, but just excellently played on both sides down there at the Palestra.
Yeah, it was a great game at the Palestra. McDevitt came out on the short end. But you're right, the game at LaSalle, the first game of the year, that was really hyped up. They were never in it.
But that team grew up a lot over the course of that year. Verano, good turn and just couldn't hit it. It's good execution there to get the ball inside. The finish wasn't there. That's an excellent finish on the other side by Robert Bell. And it's now 14 in a row for Abington to start the third quarter. A 9-point lead for the Ghosts. And another giveaway. Fortunate, very fortunate for LaSalle to get it back. Yeah. You just feel like the full court pressure has been ratcheted up a little bit, Chris. And you would have to think that aggressiveness on the front side, that's very successful right now, if you could have some crisp passes to get it down the floor, there's going to be some openings on the backside of that full court pressure.
Well, LaSalle moves the ball very well. When they're deliberate, they look for a shot, they pass it around, the shot will be there.
Another deflection, Robert Bell. And right now, those passes just aren't as crisp.
No, they're not crisp, and they're telegraphed. Like you can, clearly we have a better vantage point, but you can watch the whole thing unfold.
Now they're having trouble getting it in.
Abington's a very athletic team. They're not going to.
Foul called against Bell.
Foul number 5, Robert Bell, his first, team second.
Bob Long, Chris Carabello, Patrick Gallagher with us here from Widener University, the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics. A double high ball screen. It is O'Donnell open. He puts the foot in the ground, gets to the basket, and a great find inside for Mike DePietro.
And that was a needed basket. The Explorers needed to end that drought. They needed to score. They need to start to build some intensity. They're going to need to do that on defense. And they can climb right back in here.
And O'Donnell did a great job of using the aggressiveness of that defender against them to switch direction and beat him off the dribble. 27-20.
They got to keep Abington from going baseline.
Patience here from the Ghosts. Caleb Baker tries to go baseline. Nice defense there by O'Donnell. 1:40 to play. A nice possession defensively by the zone playing Explorers.
And Abington very content. waiting for a good shot.
Blocked by DePietro. Verano came up with it. And now numbers for the Explorers. Got to be Timby for 3. No good that time. That was a good look from Holland.
It was, but
right
you could tell when it left his hand that it wasn't.
And a good finish on the other end by Baker. Caleb Baker puts Abington back up 9 with 1:07 to play.
It's a perfect example of a poor offensive possession leading to a defensive lapse.
And an offensive foul called. Off the ball, Liam O'Donnell, a moving screen. Will give it back to LaSalle, or give it back to Abington, I should say. And if you're Abington here, the way this period has gone, they've been in complete control. LaSalle scored twice. 57 seconds left. You ask yourself the question, if LaSalle doesn't extend the zone, which they will force them to get it across the timeline. Wow. Forget that. I was going to say, do you even take a shot? But LaSalle didn't give them the option. They played great defense there and coerced the turnover.
Well, they have to. The Explorers have to get this to 7, maybe even try to get it to 5.
DePietro, there's a drive inside, pulls up, just couldn't hit it off the glass. Baker runs to the hoop, blocking foul called against Horace Simmons. We'll get one more look at this one. Boy, he looked pretty set to me.
Set to me, yeah, and he was outside of that zone.
Toughest call in basketball, no doubt. .3 to play. First one no good from Caleb Baker. Baker didn't miss either, or did not make either, excuse me, missed both. 25 seconds left. You would think a big 25 seconds here for LaSalle. Need a basket. Take the good one if you get it. There's Spinelli gliding to the hole.
Matt Spinelli needed that. He had been 0 for 3 going into that shot.
And now 7 seconds left. LaSalle needs a stop. Waller all the way through, taken off his hands. Abington will get a shot underneath their offensive basket with 3.3. LaSalle's done a decent job to contest in the lane when Abington has gotten penetration here this afternoon. It's going to be Bruscia, a tough one at the horn, no good. And we head to the fourth quarter, down by 7. That was your ask, Chris, of the Explorers. They came up with it, down 7.
Yeah, I would have liked to have 5, but 7, I'll take it.
Now that you say 7, we'll take 5.
After that run.
They did score just 4 points in the period, still find themselves right in the game heading into the fourth quarter. Abington, more than doubling their output through the first 2 quarters, scored 16 there in the third. And, Chris, a lot of those were buckets on live ball turnovers that created transition opportunities for the Ghosts. If LaSalle wants to win this one, it has to be the role reversed. LaSalle has to coerce the turnovers. LaSalle has to score in transition. Because if it's more of the same in the fourth quarter, LaSalle's going to have quite their work ahead of them coming back.
And LaSalle played good. They played solid defensively in the last minute and a half going into the final stage of that quarter. They're going to need to continue to with that intensity as the fourth quarter starts. They're clearly going to have to score points. I think they're going to have to score. They're going to have to score early. They're going to have to score right away to kind of set the tone. And hope for some of the things that we just saw there from Abington, missed foul shots, things of that nature.
This portion of today's game brought to you by Carrie Guerin Boyle, Jim McLaughlin of the Carrie Guerin Boyle team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Fox and Roach Realtors. Both Jim and Carrie, big LaSalle supporters, send their families through this school, and you can Trust that you'll be treated like family when buying or selling a home with this real estate team. Call Jim at 267-242-5991 or Carrie at 267-626-6818 for any real estate needs. They're licensed in PA and New Jersey. Bob Lowe and Chris Carabello, Patrick Gallagher, your broadcast team here this afternoon from the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics, quarter number 4 between LaSalle and Abington. Abington with the 7-point cushion. But LaSalle gets the first miss, and it will be LaSalle basketball.
Yeah, Matt Spinelli had he had a nice position there and knocked out by Abington. Yeah, as he came down with it, I think the Abington player got his hand on it, knocked it out of bounds.
Now Timby in trouble. LaSalle's going to get it across the timeline. Spinelli is all alone. He'll throw it down with
Throws
two
it
hands.
down.
Exactly what LaSalle needed and exactly what we talked about in the third, Chris. The prongs of that full court pressure. When it's that open, there's something on the backside if you can get it past the initial pressure. Brusha can't answer, but it's an offensive rebound. And good finish inside.
Went right by Holland. I think Holland set himself up to take the charge, and he went around him. And there was no one there defensively.
It was good body control by Robert Bell. Timby in rhythm. Back iron, no. And brought down by Abington.
Yeah, Spinelli got a hand on it, but not enough. He needed a body to block him out.
And now in no particular hurry, the Abington Ghosts.
The Explorers trail by 7. By no means out of this.
Timeout called by Abington. They'll talk it over. A good one here from Widener. 6 minutes, 32 seconds to play.
Yeah, full timeout from Abington, so the Explorers are going to get a chance to sit down and talk about this. They need a good defensive stop, and they need a score. I thought the three-point shot from Timby, they set him up well. He just didn't hit it. That would have been a big three.
But they'll need stops, and they've gotten them in the first few possessions here of the fourth quarter. I don't think that this Abington offensive team scares you particularly. We talked coming out of the third quarter break about how the majority of these looks have been in transition and at the rim. You'll take a three from Joey Brusha here and there. And
the Explorers are going to have to hit some threes, though. That's
right.
what they did in the first half. Shane Holland hit 2. Jake Timby hit 2. They're going to need a 3, or they're going to need probably at least 1 3, if not 2, to get them back in this game.
And the guys that are sitting on the bench right now, as we look in the huddle, it'll be Horace Simmons, Jake Timby, Liam O'Donnell, Shane Holland, and Matt Spinelli coming out. Really, 3 of those guys, Holland, O'Donnell, and Timby, you trust on an every play basis to hit the 3. Horace Simmons has hit a couple big threes, one against Archbishop Bryan in that comeback effort, Chris.
We really don't need another comeback effort. I think we need to get this early on, get back in this game. I'd like to see us trailing by 4.
By what time frame? Within a possession or 2 here type of thing?
I'd like to see us trailing by 4 with 5 to play.
Baby steps here is the request from the booth as the Explorers trail by 7, 6:25 to play. Good job of hedging and recovering by Matt Spinelli defensively.
I just think the pace of this game and the offensive production in this game, there hasn't been a whole lot of points scored.
And a hand check called against Horace Simmons. That call was coming.
Yeah.
They got the switch, the big man Simmons on the point guard, and Shane Holland had to deal with the size inside for Abington. And a pretty nice job offensively, just attacking the body of an overzealous freshman defender. There's a steal from Simmons. Great job there. Timby thought about the 3. They'll reset the offense. Looking to get a look inside. It's Spinelli off for O'Donnell. Thought about the 3. Instead attacks the rim. Great
nice
finish.
Play. Did you notice on the transition there, the Explorers don't move the ball to the center of the court. They move it to the perimeter, something they've done all season. They really haven't had much of a transition game. There was an opportunity there, and Horace Simmons went to went to the perimeter, kept the ball outside. Now they ended up scoring on the nice drive by O'Donnell, but they certainly had an opportunity in transition, didn't take advantage of it.
Waller looks for Baker now, and they'll reset. So it is down to 5. An effective possession there by the Explorers, looking for a stop here. Waller attacks the rim. It's blocked by Spinelli. He got it back and missed the bunny. Now there's contact and 2 coming at the line for Manir Waller.
That's a shame. It was nice defense on the part of the Explorers. 2 blocks. He just kept getting his own rebound. It's 3 fouls on Simmons. So both Simmons and DiPietro have 3 fouls.
Big clang comes through the public address system as the trophy is being laid down right next to a live microphone in the midst of Manir Waller's foul shot. Unfortunate if you're an Abington Ghosts fan. 5 minutes, 8 seconds to play. It's a 5-point lead. Second one coming for Waller at the stripe. And no, LaSalle's going to come up with the rebound. It's a kick ball. And it is Explorer basketball.
I was going to say, it had to be the Explorers basketball.
Abington attacks the glass, though. Nearly got themselves another offensive rebound. And LaSalle will contend with more full court pressure. Holland waves it off. Says, I'll take it at Robert Bell myself. Good strong catch there by DiPietro in traffic. Verano thought about
it, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Explorers can be deliberate here.
DiPietro, he can take his man off the dribble. Looked like a hand check. 4:33 to play. LaSalle trails by 5. Need a good shot here. And that's a good one. They're going to wave it off, though. A hand check called against Bell at the top of the key. He looked in disbelief at the call. I think he should be looking and saying thank you.
Thank you. I agree with you, Bob.
It's only the 3rd team foul against Abington, so they have plenty of fouls to give with just a little bit more than 4 minutes to play. Holland is quick, isn't he? Just couldn't finish, though. Too strong off the glass.
He had that.
It's a great drive.
It really was.
Good body control to get his defender in the air, and a timeout called by Abington as they were a bit out of sorts offensively.
The Explorers had a chance to make it a 1-possession game there, and the shot just didn't fall for Shane Holland.
Yeah, and there's really nothing to break down. Nothing went wrong there. It was a tremendous drive. He came to a jump stop. His defender flew by. He was in complete control of his body and just couldn't finish.
Just didn't roll in.
4 minutes, 8 seconds to play. As we mentioned at the top of the telecast, it's the last game in non-league play for this LaSalle team before they take on Bishop McDevitt on Friday evening from Bishop McDevitt, the 3rd of January. Chris, you and I will be there. I love that building. I mean, that is an old school venue. We talked about it. The students are out there on the stage. The place gets loud. And there's been a rejuvenation of that program under Chavis that's been quite impressive. So they're quite the contender in the Philadelphia Catholic League, whereas that may not have been the case a few years ago.
No, and I would expect a good crowd. Last year,
we should get there early.
Yeah, the crowd last year at LaSalle's gym. I mean, that may actually have been the biggest crowd we had because we didn't sell advance tickets, not anticipating that.
Right.
We actually controlled some of the attendance in the other games, but not that one. And they were packed in. They were everywhere. We had the 2.
Inside goes. Big time block there. Abington had it inside, but Liam O'Donnell, the 6'1 guard, went up and got it. Big time block.
That was a big time defensive play. See if the Explorers can capitalize on it. That's a foul.
Yeah, it's a good strong catch as well. O'Donnell had the 3, now attacks the rim. He's blocked from behind, and a late foul call. So the second official makes the foul call. It's going to go against Manir Waller. So this I don't understand.
I don't see how that's not a shooting foul then.
Off the ball foul, perhaps. Maybe that was the reason for the late call. So maybe it wasn't the foul on O'Donnell, though I think there was contact there. Perhaps on the offensive rebound attempt, Abington got in there and committed a foul. He can chase that into the backcourt. He's just not going to get there in time, though. And a foul is called, kind of a bailout there.
I'm not sure I would have touched him if I were Mike DePietro. That shot had no chance of going in.
Yeah, so and there was a DePietro was running back and kind of just headed into the body. Frazier kind of pushed off, took the shot wildly, and hits the foul shot here.
Hits both. So now it's a 7-point game. It's a huge turnaround. The Explorers had a chance to make it a one-possession game with just a 2-point bucket, and instead you're now down 7.
Timby unbelievably keeps that in bounds. Holland spins inside, puts up a tough one. That one goes down.
That one does go down. All right.
Brilliant finish there.
Explorers are going to have to be aggressive on defense here.
Abington 33, LaSalle 28. Timby got a hand on it. Kind of body checked on his way out there. It is Abington basketball. Timby, a word to say to the official. I don't blame him. Similar to what you'd see in soccer along the end line when a defender knows that the offense is the last to touch it, and you kind of box them out nowhere near the ball. That's not illegal. Can't do that in basketball.
You can't do it in basketball, and you can't use your hip to do it either, and which is exactly what happened there.
33-28, under 3 minutes now to play. LaSalle comes with a hard double.
Oh, he pushed off.
Good finish there. Auric Frazier puts Abington up 7.
Explorer bench asking for the push-off.
Timeout called by Liam O'Donnell. LaSalle not cutting quick enough to the basketball or dynamically enough for O'Donnell to get that ball in. They'll talk about it with 2 minutes and 43 seconds to play.
Yeah, DePietro's going to have to come back in the game with 4 fouls.
We want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas from all of us here at Bob Long Sports. Chris, did you have a nice Christmas with the family? Looking forward to New Year's?
I did. Looking forward to a 2020.
Should be a good year. Good year here at Bob Long Sports. Good year for LaSalle Athletics. Hopefully a good year for everybody personally and professionally.
We chase the teens away and enter a new decade.
Yeah, that's right. Almost unbelievably so. Now more than 10 years out of LaSalle, Chris. That's a little wild to think about. So if you're Mike McKee, what are you telling your team here? You're down 7, 2 minutes, 43 seconds to go. You have the basketball.
I think the Explorers are going to look. I think at this point I think the Explorers need a 3. I think they need to set Jake Timby up, Liam O'Donnell. They're going to need to move the ball around, not take a lot of time, but they need to move the ball around, get a 3, get this game down to 4 points.
I mean, the 3 obviously helps. I think if you have an open lane to the bucket,
I think if Shane Holland can penetrate and get that 2-point basket, that's fine. But a 3 would really change the momentum of this game.
Sure, I'll give you that. The other thing to bear in mind, LaSalle as a team has committed 7 fouls here in the second half. Abington
has 2 to give.
But the charity stripe has not been a friend to them. They've missed more than their fair share of shots from the line. So this game, LaSalle has a chance to foul twice still and have front-end single bonus opportunities for Abington.
The other thing to look at there, it's kind of selective who's on the court and who's not in terms of Abington, who they want on the line, because there are some people out there on the court right now who have not done well from the charity stripe today.
Nix Verano for 3, no good.
You could tell
Chases it down, though.
You could tell when it left his hand. The rotation of the ball wasn't moving towards the basket.
Good finish
There you
inside.
go. There's that penetration shot we talked about. We get it to a 5-point game. Can the Explorers get a stop here? This is an important possession for the Explorers. They need a stop.
They're going to be aggressive with double teams. Now in the corner, Caleb Baker with it. Doubling hard, and it's thrown out of bounds.
Oh.
Did either official have a tip? I didn't see one. And now it's LaSalle basketball.
Yeah.
They're pointing LaSalle's way. I did not see that deflect. Obviously, we didn't have the best angle. The camera view that you, the viewer, is seeing is the view that we have.
I find it interesting that the official closest to us, which, by the way, is nowhere near the ball, made the call. That the two that had clearly the best view of it, neither of them could make the call. Nevertheless, LaSalle's going to...
Verano, he gets all the way to the 10. That's a good finish.
There we go.
And it's a one-possession game with 1:40 to play. And LaSalle still has those 2 fouls while still in the bonus. So they can be deliberate here defensively as well.
I don't think Abington's going to take a 3.
So they choose to foul Manir Waller with 1:24 to play. I think that's the right call. Extend the game and maximize your chances here while still having Abington in the single bonus. A missed foul shot here from Waller is essentially a turnover for Abington. Of course, assuming LaSalle can corral a rebound.
Correct.
As Abington has been very strong on the glass this afternoon. Waller, that's well short, and it is an offensive rebound from Abington.
Oh, he walked.
Unfortunate there to not be called for a travel and not give the ball away. Another timeout. That came in a heck of a time. Well done by the Abington coaching staff to recognize and call that timeout.
He was 4 seconds into a 5-second call. And he was trapped. What a shame they don't get the offensive rebound. I mean, there's not a lot you can do there. It shot out. They boxed out.
There may have been a little bit of a nudge in the back from Auric Frazier, number 4, on Matt Spinelli. And that's something where it doesn't take a ton to nudge when the guy's in the air to force him forward. And you see that call, especially at the college level, come very quickly. And it did not come that time.
Not here. Not tonight.
Full timeout on the floor. LaSalle still has a lot of options here. 8 team fouls. The next one still retains the single bonus
I
for
think
Abington.
they have to use this foul wisely because the next time they're going to get 2.
It doesn't have to be right away. You can go for a steal. You can try a couple of traps and then be selective about to whom you direct the basketball and to whom you'd like to see on the line. Similarly, the chess match on the other side, Abington is going to put the combination of their best ball handlers first and foremost so that they can get the ball in and handle the ball, but secondarily, their best foul shooters on the floor to increase their chances, which is interesting that we haven't seen Joey Bruscia in the game at all, and here he comes, number 12 at the top of your screen. A guy that might not be the strongest ball handler, but is their best three-point shooter. Perhaps they want him on the floor for that reason.
He's going to inbound the ball. Does he inbound the ball and go to a place where he can hit a 3?
Simmons got a hand on it. It's kept in bounds, and LaSalle keeps it in bounds inexplicably. Simmons crashed through the bench. Timeout, Mike McKee. Unbelievable play by the freshman Horace Simmons, as well as by Shane Holland. And somehow that ball stays in between the rectangular frame here at Widener University.
That is an ESPN highlight.
Whew.
I mean, Simmons to get the tip, then he literally leaps over the bench to keep it in play to Holland, who then did the same thing again to Timby.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Now, Bob, the Explorers don't need a 3 here, but obviously if they can get an open one, it would be huge.
Oh, yeah.
I think
absolutely.
They don't need to shoot right away.
but I think you take the best look that you can possibly get.
The best shot you
point.
can. I think you take the first points and the best points you can get. Because, again, they have that foul to give.
Yeah, the other unfortunate thing to mention, this brought up by our wonderful cameraman Patrick Gallagher, is that number 15, Yashal Watts for Abington, we haven't seen him on the floor, still has his top dressing on. He's being looked at by a trainer. So Horace Simmons, when he went through the bench, took a piece of Watts with him. Hopefully Watts is okay. But it's a 3-point deficit for LaSalle, a little short from Verano.
It was a good look. It was
Still
a nice
no
shot by
need-
Nick Verano.
Still no need to foul, but now they do with 49 seconds left.
Prime example again. That shot is just short off the front of the rim, and if you go back to the rebound, if you go back to the replay, which I think we're too late to get at this point, though, he's shooting from the white part of the court.
Right. You're right. The college line is the benchmark, and it's so tough to put it through your mind and get it out of your head, really, because it's a darker shade, closer to the basket. Yeah. Offensive foul.
Oh, and we're about to get
one more look. Yeah. And it was a pretty good box out. I don't know that Frazier really got too much of a piece of DiPietro, but it was a better box out than Spinelli the time before, and I think he got the benefit of the doubt as a result.
DiPietro had position there.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Timeout. Oh, no, a foul call. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So one more to give. Sixth team foul. Now both teams upon the next foul will be at the foul line.
I was surprised they took
left.
it there, because I thought that was I thought if Abington was going to take that foul and use that foul, they use it to interrupt LaSalle's offense.
It's a deep three for Timpey. No good. Rebound corralled by Abington. Driving through traffic, and it's given away. Here comes LaSalle the other way. Verano open, a deep three. It's good.
It's good, and we have a tie ball game with 15 seconds.
Abington's going to get the last shot of regulation. It's 35 apiece, 6 seconds left. Here's Waller. Waller goes behind his back. LaSalle with two. At the horn. It's
they
good.
hit it!
Ball game.
Unbelievable.
LaSalle.
Unbelievable.
LaSalle wins the ball game. They've trailed the entire second half.
Unbelievable.
And they mob Shane Holland, the winner, at the buzzer.
Unbelievable finish. And you have to give Shane Holland an enormous amount of credit to look up. He looked up, saw what time was there, and Bob, there's another advantage of being on a college court because the time is right above the backboard. Takes the three-point shot. What a finish. Bob, I don't know that we've had that exciting of a finish in a long time in games we finished. Between the Horace Simmons jumping over the Abington bench to save it, and then the three-point at the end.
The only one I can remember was Ryan McTamney hitting a game winner with
at
about
Bonner?
5 seconds left at Monsignor Bonner.
Yeah.
But this feels like a class in and of itself, because this is a team that's looking for answers. A young team that's improving every game. Chris, they got outscored 14-0 to begin the second half. What did they do? They hung in. They played great basketball. They even had some that didn't fall that were pretty good looks, but they hung in the whole time. You got freshmen and sophomores making huge plays. And, of course, the winner by Holland at the horn. That one will be replayed for generations here at LaSalle, and Holland being awarded the MVP for LaSalle for this particular contest. Auric Frazier wins it for Abington, but now joined by his teammates in victory, 38-35. Do you believe this one from Widener University? As good as it gets from a fourth quarter and a finish perspective. The heart of a team that now turns the page to Philadelphia Catholic League play. Enjoy this one for 24 hours, then enjoy New Year's and get ready for a grind of Catholic League play with a little feather in your cap to come from the game winner here today.
Now, it certainly wasn't pretty. It was exciting, but not pretty. But the Explorers will go into Catholic League play 7-4. They're going to have a tough game on Friday night against Bishop McDevitt and then Bishop Egan at home. But I think, as I said, I think we've seen a lot out of the Explorers. They certainly had a lot of heart. They did not give up today.
It was impressive.
And
There's
as I
no
said,
doubt
I thought the play of Shane Holland, particularly at the end when he saves the ball, the big three by Nick Sperano, and then Shane Holland to come up with that ball and, as I said, to have the sense to look up and know he had to take the shot right away and get it on the basket. That's all it took. It went in. A lot of closer ones didn't fall,
right,
but that one did.
And remember, of course, what led to that as well. Abington, pretty good team, really good defensive team. They're going to be kicking themselves for Waller dribbling the ball down the floor, up three, reckless abandon, into the lane, a jump pass, and that's how LaSalle got the first steal that led to the Nick Sperano three. That ties the game. And then all of a sudden, Waller again, 6 seconds left, goes behind his back with a double team coming. That's where Holland comes into the mix. Waller and the coaching staff for Abington is going to look back at that and say, man, we had one that we just gave away.
No, they did. I mean, you could very much say LaSalle won it. You could also very much say Abington lost it. But LaSalle's going to get the win here tonight.
And it's exactly what we said coming into the game, right? Two teams that are going to compete in District 1, District 12, teams that have lost sizable contributors, both in size and in impact from the past year. And so now they're learning who they are. Abington has some lessons to take away. LaSalle has some lessons to take away. But as we said, the feather in the cap goes to LaSalle's way here today, heading into Catholic League play. This is one we'll be talking about for a long time.
Well, the 7-4 Explorers, again, will continue Catholic League play on Friday night at McDevitt. We'll be there calling the game. Great.
Looking forward to it.
Tough venue. It's going to be a tough crowd. Just as I said, there's going to be a little revenge factor, I think, in the air. But, Explorers are going to have to – this is going to be there's a number of teams like this that the Explorers are going to have to play with and maybe try to steal one from.
Many thanks to Jeremy Treatman putting on this great event here at Widener University. And, well, Jeremy, we gave you a good game here today. We did our best. It's been fun. Patrick Gallagher back behind the camera doing a great job here today. Chris Carabello alongside me, Bob Long, saying so long here from Widener University, and we'll see you guys on Friday in 2020. Have a Happy New Year, everyone, and we'll see you at Bishop McDevitt at 7 o'clock on January 3rd.